Hi and welcome to today's video where I've got a get ready with me. I've been interested in a while in doing this and just never got around to it. So it's going to be an interpretation, because I think there are many, of the Mocha Mousse Pantone colour of the year within makeup. So I've actually, as it starts, I've got my skincare on. So I have dry, mature skin. I have various layers of skincare, including my sunscreen. And then I'm going to go in with my foundation, which today is the No7 Lift and Illuminate Triple Action Serum Foundation SPF 15. And it is in, if it's going to pick this up, I don't think it works, in the shade Calico, which is a light neutral. So I'm going to use which is my favourite foundation brush. It's the It Cosmetics foundation brush, dual ended. I've also got a Heavenly Luxe on its own, but the head is slightly different. I think it's an older one, but this is old anyway, but I have been using it for many years. It's never shed, it cleans really well, and I know even a lot of makeup artists do use this brush because it is quite pretty and quite a useful tool. It's a good, neat brush. It does a great job. It's effective. So yeah, it is my favourite foundation brush. I mean, I've tried the flathead ones. I can't think the name of the brand now that brought them out a few years ago. I've tried all of them, or a lot of them I should say, but I love this. So it is an artificial bristle dual fibre. So I know a lot say start at the middle. I just put dots on, and the reason they're able to move is, as you can see, I've got a lot of product on my skincare on my face, so it allows anything I put on top to slide. So it's not going to stick if I put it down. It's not going to stick where I lay it initially. In terms of putting foundation, a big blob, it will blend. So I don't overwork the foundation in. This is a medium coverage foundation. I only put one layer on, and I want to be able to see my skin. You can see the skin underneath, but it's just really to even the skin tone out. So that is the layer there. Now I'm going to go in to, I'm not going to do colour correction today. I'm going to, because I've actually just been using this Ellis Faas concealer in Fair, which is in a pen, and I've only got a little bit left. So I'm going to, I just put this, because I don't really need a lot of concealer, but it's just where the dark rings are, which is just in the very inner part of the eye. I'll put it underneath if I get any, where I might get any redness as well. There. So it's cancelled quite a bit out, not everything, but it has done something. So that's the concealer. Now the next thing that I'm going to do, because I'm doing it in the order I normally do it, is I have a stippling brush. This is a Crown, which is a UK brand stippling brush. I've got the Milk, I think it's Toasted bronzer, and this is the end of the container that once I'd used it all and it was flat, I scooped what was left. And then what I do is I put it on the back of my hand with a finger, put it on the back of my hand. And then I get my brush. It looks dirty, but I have used this, I've only used it once since I've cleaned it. When was that? Saturday. So I start at the temple, make sure my hair's well back, and then I do a stippling motion, because I have packed the bristle with the colour, and I bounce it around the perimeter. There we go. And it spreads it quite well. So you get a bit of a diffused look. That's quite good. I'm going to leave it at that. And I'm going to get a bit more, so there isn't a lot of colour, so I'll put a bit more out. And what I'm going to do with this is go on to the tops of the cheeks, put a bit of colour there. You can see it is coming through. And here, there, there's that one. Over the nose, and then a bit on the chin to cancel out the whiteness of the base on my face, just to give a bit more warmth. So that is all done, and I should have brought something to take this mess off my hand, but I haven't. So we're going to have to make do. So that is the bronze. It's fairly easy, straightforward thing to do. The next thing is my contour. So I'm going to use the Milk Contour. I'm not sure what the shade is. It's in the dark container. It's a contour shade. And I'm going to, I'll use this brush, which is a dense flat top. I mean, it's slightly sloped, but it's a dense brush, a very dense brush. And if I put it on top of this foundation, it might, I'll try it, but it does have a tendency to displace the any product underneath it, this milk one. But I'll try. It's doing okay. I think because this foundation isn't a serum type, it isn't very moisturising at all. Yeah, and that's why. On a serum type, this milk product tends to smear. It's doing okay today. If you get smearing, because they don't go along, what I would do is get a dusting of powder, but the lightest textured powder that you have, the very lightest, and that can give a little bit of grip for the contour. So there, that is the two sides. They're going to look different because I've got lighting, natural lighting to this side. That's the contour. Anyway, how are you doing? I hope you're doing well. It's been probably a couple of months since I've done one. I don't do them that often, and I've been wanting to do this for ages, but just never got around to it. But I'm well. So the next item I'm going to put on, next product, is another cream. So I'm not setting my face yet. And this is the Kjaer Weiss, and it's a cream blush in Blossoming. There it is, Blossoming. So I have a dual-sided brush, a paddle brush. I'm trying to think which is right. This. So I'm going to. This is a number 103 brush from Kiko Milan. I got that in store. So this is a warm pink. Some may say neutral, but it's a neutral to warm pink. Pinks are not my favourite because I have a lot of redness and pink in my face. And you know, whilst a lot of people with pink skin don't mind putting pink or even like putting pink blush on, I don't. Because I see enough of my pink cheeks. But I'm going to put that on there. That seems to balance up. You only need a tiny amount. It's a very nice blush. And what I do is I flip it over. And I'm going to move that away. I'm going to flip it over and use a blusher. And it's the Gold Rush by Benefit. This has been discontinued. Here it is in a gold colour. And I'm going to put that on top. So this will slightly change the colour tone. It will warm it up. Because I like a peach or an orange tone. Or even a nude, as in a brown. Going towards brown, a beige brown. I don't like pink per se. Like I say, I don't like other people. It's great, you do you. And I understand for many that don't have pink tones, it can be a contrast, a nice contrast. But no, I don't like it. But it's going a bit more bronzy, a bit more like the Benefit what I've been using, Rocketeur, which I like. So now what I'm going to do next is I'm going to put on an eye base. So I've got Colour Tattoo. This is from Maybelline. So I don't know if you've been up to anything. I've not been up to much. I've had lots of nice, I walk every day. I walk about 5 kilometres a day minimum. And so, you know, I've noticed, well, a couple of weeks ago it was quite icy breeze. It seems to be getting slightly warmer and spring-like, but, you know, I know you can never guarantee that's going to be the case, but I've certainly enjoyed that when I've been walking. I do at least an hour and a half every day on a set walk. And that doesn't mean I don't walk at other times. I will in the day, but like shopping and whatever. But this is a dedicated walk. And my little dog loves it as well. So me and Mr. Bear go out with the little dog. And I've not done anything that interesting. I've not been to the cinema in a while. I don't go in years, but I went to see Nosferatu and enjoyed that, and that's a couple of months ago, probably whenever that came out. I enjoyed that. I'm just going to put this away. I like to put them away because I don't have much space. I'm on a tiny table. So I've just cleaned all my brushes, which is great for me. So that's finished, the Colour Tattoo, and it's a pink one. I don't know if I've got the shade. It's Creme de Rose, it's called. So the next thing is to set. So I'm going to be using the translucent powder from Laura Mercier. This is the original formula, which is being discontinued, though you can still get it. And you can tell because it is a frosted jar that's basically like a white frosting. The new one has got a smoky base, like a black or a dark brown base, up to this colour at the top. And instead of having Laura Mercier at the side, it's got LM on the top. That's how you can tell. But it, like I say, the new formula doesn't have talc. So I put some into the cap. I swirl my brush. I have a small brush because I don't like brushes banging off my mirror, the handles. So what I do is I put this over the face as a finishing powder. A setting powder, sorry. Because this foundation is not very moisturised. In fact, it's quite dry, but it doesn't particularly self-set. And the reason it isn't moisturising, it's a lifting one. So whatever it needs to lift means it's not going to be moisturising. Yeah, so I've got that on. The next step is I use this, which is like MAC Fix Plus. It is the Barry M Fresh Face Dewy Setting Spray. Got a tiny bit left. Give it a shake at a distance. Now it's getting a bit, it was quite fine, the mist, but it's obviously sputtering as it's getting to its very, very last few sprays. So I've got that there. I'd normally leave it a little while, but I'm next going to go in with another powder on because basically the cream base that I put down is probably going to be still a little tacky, and I don't want that for my powders. So I'm going to put some Laura Geller Balance and Brighten in Fair. Doesn't matter the tone particularly, but it's just like a foundation powder. It's fine, but it's got more heft to it, more buildability than a standard face powder, and I put that on to give a good, fairly dry base for powders, because I don't want my eyeshadows going patchy. So the next thing I'm going to do is get a little Delilah eyeshadow brush. I'm going to move stuff I don't need away, I think, onto a side, because I've got hardly any space here. So I'll move everything I can out of the way. So I've got my little Zao palette here, and I'm going to use one from the Smokey palette by Urban Decay, and I use this and a bit of the white from the palette, and I put that in just to get some definition back into the eye. So I'm going to run this through the crease, and that adds a bit of contouring or shading. You could use a contour powder or cream. The only thing is, a lot with face creams are a bit too tacky for putting laying shadows on top on the eye, or you have to use a lot of powder. So I'm just using a powder just to give it a little bit of definition through the crease. I don't know if you can see the difference there to there. There is a difference, and I'm going to do the same on this eye. So I don't spend a lot of time blending, because I can only, you know, you can't make a silk purse out of a sow's ear. And what I mean by that is, my skin is as it is. So I do quite simple eye makeup looks now. I have done for many years, well, for several years anyway. And do they match up? Yeah, that's it. So that's the base there. So so for the lid, I'm going to go into my Anastasia Beverly Hills, and this is the Norvina, the original Norvina palette. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into Volatile, which is a minky brown, and I'm going to put that as in an initial shade over the lid. Now it is dark, but it is giving a mocha mousse sort of feel to it. Now these shadows are quite old, so they don't have the blendability they want to have on the mattes. So what I'm going to do is that. So I'm using also a bit of what is called base, and that is to give a bit more slip on the brown, because it is clinging to the tattoo base, because it doesn't set very well, or at least not on top of my foundation. It's not going on bare skin. So what I do, because I have hooded eyes, you take the lid shade above so that you can see it when the eyes are open, and that is to open the eyes a bit further. So there's that, and the same with that one. Now what I wanted to say is that I've got a video coming up, my next video. I'm planning it to be the next video, which is something that certainly if you're in the UK, you may find interesting. And it's about how to save money, how to get, you know, how to be able to purchase products inexpensively, or get a discount or money off or free. And I'm going to, with a specific scheme. So I'm going to talk about it in my next video. So I'm not going to be doing makeup or anything, or showing you makeup. I don't think. It's just going to be a talk through about how there is a scheme out there that is really good. So that will be later on this week, but I wanted to mention it now. But not, I know these videos, or Get Ready With Me, aren't the most popular, but I thought if I mention it a week or two ago, you know, many will have forgotten or get frustrated why I haven't done it. So I'll mention it now. But yeah, when I found out, it was really, really, really interesting, and it turned out to be extremely good. So I've got some glitters, and I'm going to use a Topper's Dazzling, which is that one, which is a brownish, a rose gold with, yeah, a brownish rosy gold. So I'm going to use that on my eye, and again, it's to give a mockery moussey sort of effect over the eye. That is beautiful. I've not used this because I've just put this into my rotation now. So I've got a tiny bit as a topper. I don't want it to overwhelm the lid, what I put on. Oh wow, I really like that. So it's a diffuse sort of look, absolutely gorgeous, rather than a solid metallic, because obviously my eyes I do have a bit of crepe in them. So I'm doing it, if you can get the light scattered through a glitter topper, it can it doesn't necessarily, you can't necessarily see where the folds or creases are in the eye. It can be a bit of a distraction. If you put a full metallic, like a metallic cream on, it may emphasise that. So can be the issue. So I'm quite happy with that. It's a very basic look. I'm happy with that. Now, I'm going to go back to this, and I'm going to use one from, I think it may well be the modern Renaissance palette. It's a bone, I think it's called Bone. And I'm going to put that, it's a matte or a satin matte, probably. I'm going to put that on the high point there. There. And then the next item I'm going to use, well, next thing I'm going to do is my brows. So for that, the first thing I'm going to use is a pencil. I find the pencil works best. So this is in Blonde from Surratt, and it's a pen, refillable pen. This isn't a precise formula. It's more like you're putting a powder on. Some may like it because it's a bit forgiving, but it isn't. But it's not. You're not going to be able to draw on brows. So I use this in the inner part of the eye because they've either got very little hairs, and what hairs have got are white. So, and they have been white for many, many, many years. I think it was probably in my teens when I noticed the first white on the brow, but I was already started going white on my hair at 8. So it's a genetic quirk. It's in my family, and my cousins as well have it. So not all of them, but some do. So that is the initial part of the eye. You can see you can't see a lot of brow hairs. So the next thing I'm going to do, if I've brought this, I've got it here, is the Uoma Blonde, and it's a gel, and I think it's a very good formula. Unfortunately, as it stands now, the original owner of Uoma has I don't think is involved with the brand, and I'm not sure if the brand is going to be maintained. It was sold. So this was on sale at Boots and clearance. They actually had this shade in my store, but I'd already ordered it online. So there it is. So it does give good definition of shape, not of individual brows, and it sticks to the skin very well. So that is my brows done. I don't overcomplicate it. The next thing is eyeliner. So for that, I'm going to use the one that's in my project pan, and it's by Rodial, and it is in brown, and this is a lovely chestnutty brown, a very rich brown, and I'm just going to lay that down on the upper lid there. That one, and the same on this one. Now this is a gel tight liner. That's its form. It's gel. You do need to sharpen it. Bits of glitter coming up onto the eye there. And it takes a bit. If your eyes are a bit watery, it takes a bit to lay down on itself. Anyway, I think I've got that there. And there's always one eye, they always look different, the liners on both eyes. So this basically moves around the lid. So in order to reduce that, what I've got to do, because it will transfer onto the crease, I've got to then get a brush here, and it's a flat paddle brush, and it's from, I think it's Real Techniques, I don't know what they call it, but it's a flat brush. I go into this and I stroke both sides of it in, and then I have to lay it down on top. Now this will lighten the shade without a doubt, but because I have hooded eyes, it has lined it, so it will stop the creasing onto the lid, and the stamping I should say. So that's done. Then I'm going to do my lower lash line, which is a liner. It's for waterline. It works on the waterline, but once it hits the rest of the skin it bunches, so it's not the best, and I like to drag it up there to get a bit of lift. I don't put dark eyeliner as a rule. It's very rare on the lower part of the lashes because I don't have big eyes and they close the eyes in. So I prefer to do that. Then I have my, just turn a little bit on that. The next item I have is going to be my Dior, I think it's Dior Show Lash Primer, which I don't think is very good. But although my lashes are curly, they're very thin. They're fairly short, but I have been using this last probably nearly a year or 9 months or so serums, and the lashes have grown. But I don't use any with prostaglandin, which are the expensive serums. Tend to be quite expensive because prostaglandin, one, can irritate the eye, and two, can change your eye colour to brown. It makes eyes brown. Not in everyone, but significantly effective that it does. So if you've got brown eyes, it's not a problem. If you want brown eyes, I'm not suggesting use it because it's not uniform brown. It doesn't give a uniform change. So I just stick to your standard serums. They don't have, like I said, don't have particular growth hormones in, but may do something. And then I'm still using it's towards the end of its life, the Exaggerise by Charlotte Tilbury. That goes on top here. Just got to be careful because the brush is humongous. And it's already stamped onto the upper lid. So it's not easy. It's not. I would have preferred a much smaller brush because you can get the same effect as this with a tiny brush. You don't need this big brush. It's all in the formula. I know they say it's brush and formula, and in many mascaras they're right, but not with this. It's really the formula. It's good. The brush itself isn't. It's just matted all my lashes together now. Nothing I can do. I've not brought anything to separate. I'm going to have to put more on this. And what I'll do when it's dry, I do have I have it here. It has potted together. So what I would do, as I will take this, which is a lash separating tool. And I would take this in the back of the hand. There. And that takes some of it off, and can you see it stamped there? And that is from the size of the brush. So there. So I've got that done. It is getting to the end of its life, in all honesty. Then I have, I'm going to put on the Charlotte Tilbury Light wand. Got it in here because I managed to over squeeze, so I wasn't going to throw it away. So what I do, it is quite a dark colour for me. It spreads well. You don't need to worry because with some products you put a stamp on and it basically smears where you put it and you get a line. This doesn't, can see it smooths out quite well, but it is a coppery rose gold but quite dark. But it is nice, it gives a bit of glow. So it's more of a topper than a highlighter on my skin tone. There it is. Can you see it's quite dark? But it is pretty and it wears well throughout the day on. This is the second time I've used it. And then the next side, the final step, is going to be my lips. I was just going to show you. There's a massive air bubble in, and whilst I maybe poured out about 1 ml by accident, there isn't much in it. It's 12 ml, so you only get about that much to start with. And the rest of it is air. It's probably so you can press it out. You need some air, I think. But the next item is going to be for my lips. So I've got, in fact, have I used this? Oh, I'm going to use this Kiko Milano, and it's a pencil. It's a new one. The newish one, number 36. It's one of the browns that they have. And it's a dark. So that gives a nice soft, if anything, it's a bit soft. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a bit of this on. And I should have brought blotting paper. So this is Next Wave. And that is from KVD Beauty. And the very last phase, now I've not used this before, and this has a sweet scent, candy or perhaps slightly chocolatey scent. And then I have the new the chocolate from Fenty Beauty, and this is in the glitter lip. So normally I'd blot this down. That's what I would think to do anyway. And that is beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So this is the completed look for my, one more thing I'm going to do actually. Hopefully this won't mess it up, because I found this is quite a heavy colour. It is, I'm going to use my Tom Ford bronzer. It has a lot of pigment in it. So what I'm going to do is, no, wrong brush. I'm going to use a bronzer brush, which is a Real Techniques. I've cut it down because I don't like my brushes banging into my mirrors. So I'm going to coat it with some setting powder. And this will dilute the bronzer. And then I'm going to press into this is the Tom Ford Soleil bronzer in Terra, which is being withdrawn, being discontinued. So I'm going to bang this in. I'll put it over, and you can see it is reducing that high contrast. Now, one of the high contrast areas which I don't like is under the eye. I do not like a white eye. It's very 2016, and I didn't like the look then. Unless it was okay if it matched the rest of my face, but I do not like a dark look. Sorry, a white look. Right, panda eyes. I don't like it. So there. And the final thing, which I should have done earlier on, because I nearly forgot, is I have a, now it depends where I've put the brush for it. I would have thought I'd put it, oh yes I have. This is a stipple brush, but it's a very light head. I'll show you what to do with that. I'm sorry for sniffing, but I've got allergies. I mean, I've been sniffing since rhinitis since September. So I've got this, which is Tartist Pro Glow Set. And this is one of the contour shades. As I've cleaned this brush, I'm going to have to load it with some colour. What I do is I take that on the jawline, because it's quite dark. Because I've cleaned the brush, it's going to have to be loaded with colour. I put it up to there. Can you see? So that's that. So that is done. And then the final bit I would do in order to for some sort of consistency, I'm going to put a bit of the bronzer here. And that is it. As you can see, it is. So that is my completed look. I'll just put on some setting spray. The lid is pretty useless on it. And there it is. So this is Milani, sorry, setting spray. It is very, very light. And it does help because it's quite watery, but it does fix well. It does bring life back into the skin. And I could also have added, but I didn't, but I might try a bit now. It might be overkill. So what? I have Dim Light from Hourglass. So if you have too powdery a look and you don't have, this can bring a bit of life back into the skin. So there it is. So that's my finished look. So can I say thank you very much for watching, as I do appreciate that your time is valuable. Hopefully I shall see you soon. Please tune in again for my next video, which is going to be hopefully some really useful information and interesting information on how to get some benefit from a website that I'm sure that most of you have had 2 websites. I will come back to you in the next few days. Like I say, thank you very much for watching. Please take care of yourself. Have a lovely day. Hopefully I shall see you very soon, but bye for now.